Tonight, the rising Canadian hockey superstar facing major charges in the U.S. The allegations against the top NHL draft prospect and what this means for his playing career.
Gadowski across McKenna, one-timer, he scores! Gavin McKenna's first collegiate goal!
And what his American team is saying. Why Canadian pop star Tate McRae is being accused of betraying her roots.
Oh, hi. I'm a bit lost.
Plus, a shocking setback for Team Canada just 2 days before the Olympics begin. And a warning for Canadian tourists.
When we saw the travel advisory, the enhanced advisory, it's, created extra concern.
Which popular vacation hotspot is suddenly being flagged and why?
CTV National News with Omar Sachedina.
Good evening. A significant development in the hockey world tonight. The future of a top young Canadian talent is on the line after court documents allege he was involved in an altercation on Saturday and charged. If convicted, the Yukon native could face up to 20 years in prison. The incident happened on the same day 18-year-old forward Gavin McKenna was playing for Penn State in an outdoor game. Police say McKenna faces felony charges after allegedly assaulting a man, leaving him with a broken jaw. The university writing in a statement to CTV News that they are aware charges have been filed, but as this is an ongoing legal matter, they are not commenting further. McKenna was a star on Team Canada's World Junior team and is projected to go first overall in the coming 2026 NHL Entry Draft in June. To a different kind of setback for Canadian snowboarding star Mark McMorris, just days before he was set to compete at the Olympic Games in Italy. The 32-year-old three-time Olympic bronze medalist was taken off the course on a stretcher while training for Thursday's qualifying run. No word on how badly he was injured. McMorris is no stranger to scares. In 2016, he broke a femur during competition in Los Angeles, and a year later, he suffered life-threatening injuries after smashing into a tree in BC, resulting in a rod in his leg, as well as plates in his jaw and arm. With just 2 days to go until the opening ceremony, the excitement is slowly building in Italy, where the Winter Games are returning for the first time in 2 decades, and this time the most spread out in Olympic history, spanning over 22,000 square kilometers. CTV's Heather Butts is on the ground in Milan, speaking with fans who've also made the trip.
A constant rain soaking the city, turning popular landmarks into a sea of umbrellas. In the north, it meant snow for the mountain regions just in time for the global event, drawing Olympic fans from around the world, including the Grandillo family from Montreal.
This is the 30th birthday trip, kind of a bucket list item for us. The opening ceremonies are on my birthday, on my 30th birthday, and being Italian, it just seemed like the most fitting event.
Though they expected more Olympic flair to be flooding the streets, not rain.
To be honest, it's not really in your face. We do see it here and there at corners, but we haven't really captured that vibe yet. I'm sure it's coming though.
Their sights set on snowboarding and hockey. With the games spread out, Milan will only see part of the action.
Per il momento no.
No?
No.
Few crowds right now, he says, but they are expected. Organizers say all competition venues are fully operational. Still, construction at the hockey rink isn't complete.
Do we have every single space in that venue finished? No. And is it absolutely needed for the games? No.
Aside from the main facilities, there are sure signs something monumental is about to happen here, drawing more than just regular tourists.
Here's something else adding to the energy. Media from around the world, such as myself, here to cover this event. Take a look at the rooftop studios using the historic Duomo as a backdrop.
We only just got here and we were like, wow, everything's Olympics. It's great. It's so much fun. I love it.
The organizing committee is pointing to the torch relay as a driver for national excitement.
This is fun to be in an environment with like thousands of people and all here for just one simple reason. It's fun.
That momentum is also reflected in demand from spectators, with roughly 1.2 million event tickets already sold and only a limited number remaining for the opening ceremony. Heather Butts, CTV News, Milan.
And coming up a little later, we'll tell you about the backlash over the Canadian pop star repping Team USA at the Games. Well, Well, if you're thinking of soon making a real estate play, new numbers show it continues to be a buyer's market. For the first time in half a decade, the average price of a home in the Toronto area has dipped below $1 million. But as CTV's Heather Wright reports, the cooling prices still haven't convinced many buyers.
Ryan Rodriguez has seen roughly 15 homes over the last few months. He and his girlfriend are ready to buy, but are also willing to wait.
What it allows us to do is really take our time and see where our money will get us.
And money goes farther now than it has in a long time. According to the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board, for the first time in 5 years, the average price of a home in the Greater Toronto Area is below $1 million, with sale prices down 6.5% last month compared to a year ago. The volume of home sales also dropped by nearly 20%. But while interest rates are lower and prices are coming down, homes remain expensive. And economic uncertainty looms over many would-be buyers.
Obviously, there's concern around our trade relationship with the United States. There's other geopolitical issues. I think that if we see a more solid economic future in the months ahead, that will prompt more households to take advantage of this improved affordability.
Other major markets are also seeing home sales slide. In Vancouver, sales were down nearly 30%, Calgary nearly 15%, and Edmonton 27.6% compared to the year before. In Montreal, however, sales increased in 2025, up by about 8%. Amid the uncertainty, realtors say some sellers are choosing to wait while many buyers previously priced out now have an opportunity to get in.
We have many clients that were maybe priced out of a certain property type or a certain neighborhood that are seeing prices at levels that will allow them to get into those properties.
TREB predicts slow sales and price weakness will persist for at least the first half of 2026, which comes after a dismal 2025, which saw the lowest number of home sales in 25 years. Heather Wright, CTV News, Markham, Ontario.
A new travel warning for Canadians traveling to Cuba. CTV's Adrian Gobriel tells us what it is and what tourists are saying about it.
A hotbed for Canadian tourists lured by sand, sun, and culture, a heightened travel advisory has been issued for Cuba. Posted today, this notice is urging Canadians to exercise a high degree of caution in Cuba due to worsening shortages of electricity, fuel, and basic necessities, including food, water, and medicine.
When we saw the travel advisory, the enhanced advisory, it's, created extra concern.
Steve Chapman and his wife Lisa are booked to leave for their annual trip to Varadero this Saturday. He called WestJet. The airline has yet to provide a contingency plan.
They don't pay much attention to the Government of Canada travel advisory, that it's when they issue a travel advisory that they can do something for you.
President Donald Trump has threatened tariffs on any country that sells oil to Cuba. To reduce pressure on the island's electrical network, daily cuts to power are taking place. Between April 2023 and March 2024, roughly 700,000 Canadians traveled to Cuba, making it the country's fifth most popular travel destination. Some who are staying at resorts say they've yet to experience any inconvenience.
Some places might be worse than others, but as of here in Varadero right now, it's very good actually.
While others who ventured into local communities are reporting widespread power outages.
Sometimes the only light in the area is the billboard from the resorts across the street.
Canadians on the island should heed this advice, according to one tourism management professor.
Not just your passport, but also a paper photocopy of your passport. Bring along any extra medication. Once again, with your travel insurance, make sure what the cancellation policies actually are.
For Canadians who are in Cuba or those with plans to still travel there, you're being advised to go online and sign up with Registration for Canadians Abroad. It may also be a good idea to keep the phone number for the embassy in Havana on hand. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
Prime Minister Mark Carney sat down with opposition leader Pierre Poilievre today to try and work together on issues like affordability. But that spirit of cooperation appears to have been slightly dampened by Conservative MPs' solo trip to Washington. CTV's senior political correspondent Michael Couture tells us why.
Good to see you. This is not hope. This is not hope over here. Well, look at this.
The Conservative leader with a dig at his Liberal colleagues ahead of a meeting with the Prime Minister.
We have been working to fast track anything that we believe, however modest, might make life a little more affordable, a little safer, and our economy a little stronger. So it's he that is holding up the show.
According to readouts from both leaders' offices, Carney and Poilievre agreed they need to work quickly to pass policies that will make life more affordable for Canadians. The Conservative leader also offered his help in Canada-US negotiations.
In fact, we need to work together.
Conservative MP Jamil Javani, meanwhile, is heading to Washington this week on a solo mission to improve trade relations between Canada and the U.S. He's a longtime friend of U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance.
I haven't talked to him in about a year about those issues. I would like to use that relationship for the good of the country, but I also don't want to interfere in what the Prime Minister's doing.
Javani was pushing for a meeting with the Prime Minister, but he did get one with the Minister in charge of Canada-U.S. trade.
Minister LeBlanc gave a briefing to Mr. Javani, who I don't believe is the trade critic for the opposition, certainly not the Minister of International Trade, nor the Prime Minister.
But some members of cabinet are casting doubt on whether Javani can or will help.
I really hope that he spoke about the closure of GM in his writing, because Ingersoll has been closed for now 4 months, and I haven't heard him once.
While a number of Conservatives are confident Javani can use his contacts to make a difference, Poilievre says he told his MP the most important thing is to fight for the jobs in his community. Omar.
All right, Mike, thanks. And late tonight, Javani posted this on X. The president asked me to pass along a message. Tell the Canadians I love them. The U.S.-backed ceasefire in Gaza took another hit today as Israeli strikes pounded the Palestinian territory, killing at least 24 people, according to health officials. Israel says 3 militant leaders were killed in the attacks in Khan Yunis and in Rafah that forced the brief closure of the crossing into Egypt just 2 days after it reopened. Deadly strikes have repeatedly disrupted the truce since it took effect on October 10th. The Prime Minister scrapped 2 Trudeau-era positions today, Canada's special envoys on combating anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. CTV's Rachel Aiello on who will replace them and what's behind the move.
The Canadian government is getting rid of 2 Trudeau-era special envoys focused on fighting anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. Replacing those roles, a new federal advisory council on rights, equality, and inclusion.
It's about folding in those 2 positions.
Canada's Identity and Culture Minister will oversee the council and provide advice to the Prime Minister. The Liberals say they know how divided the country has become, and the standalone positions played a key part in identifying that polarization. But now it's time to focus on bringing people together.
Now it's about taking the next step into a national unity committee that is broad, that does recognize the specificities of Islamophobia and anti-Semitism, but is focused on national unity, and I think that's important.
Canada's last special envoy on combating anti-Semitism, Deborah Lyons, resigned in July, while Amira El-Gawabi still had a year left as the special representative on combating Islamophobia. And advocates say they didn't see this coming.
General sense of disappointment that we won't have, I think, a dedicated office or a point person that takes a special interest and advisory role when it comes to tackling violent systemic Islamophobia.
The new council will be comprised of yet-to-be-named academics, experts, and community leaders, with a mission to foster social cohesion and rally Canadians around shared identity.
We want all of those goals and objectives to be achieved, but it can't be at the expense of fighting against the pervasive anti-Semitism that we're seeing in all corners of our society in Canada.
The minister couldn't say today what this move will mean for any funding connected to the 2 offices, but that cost saving wasn't the motivation for the change. Omar?
All right, Rachel, thank you. 7 Toronto police officers have been arrested in a sweeping investigation connected to organized crime and corruption over allegations including drug trafficking and auto theft. York Regional Police led the investigation, dubbed Project South, targeting criminal ties to Toronto's tow truck industry. 4 of the officers have been suspended without pay. And police in 2 provinces carried out a series of raids today, targeting organizations tied to the Hells Angels. CTV's Quebec Bureau Chief Geneviève Beauchemin is tracking the story. And Geneviève, what do you know about how many officers were involved?
Yeah, Omar, more than 160 police officers from the National Organized Crime Enforcement Squad swooped down on locations right across Quebec, but also in New Brunswick. They executed 20 searches, most of them targeting homes, but also vehicles and businesses. This is what Sergeant Louis-Philippe Ruel had to say about the scale of the operation.
We've got this organization that was actually pretty heavily involved in cocaine trafficking actually pretty much anywhere in Quebec, but also in New Brunswick.
So it's a vast operation.
Yeah, it's a vast operation. We've got police officers from the Sûreté du Québec, but also from the RCMP, from the Montreal Police, and from other municipal police organizations. So it's pretty exhaustive.
Police say this is an important file, an investigation that started more than 2 years ago. It targets organized crime groups that are linked to the Hells Angels biker gangs. Quebec Public Security Minister Yann Lafrenière congratulated police for exerting pressure on these groups. The National Organized Crime Enforcement Squad specifically targets leaders of gangs, but there were no planned arrests today. Investigators say this is an ongoing investigation, and this was one phase of it. Omar.
All right, Genevieve, thank you. The Trump administration is reducing the number of federal immigration agents in Minnesota in the wake of tensions over 2 fatal shootings. But Donald Trump's border czar also had this warning.
If you're in the country illegally, you are not off the table. And let me be clear, President Trump fully intends to achieve mass deportations during this administration, and immigration enforcement actions will continue every day throughout this country.
Tom Homan says 700 agents will leave the Minneapolis area because of what he says is unprecedented cooperation from local sheriffs. Widespread protests were sparked after agents shot and killed 2 U.S. citizens. Trump today weighing in on what he has learned from the situation.
I learned that maybe we can use a little bit of a softer touch, but you still have to be tough.
Coming up.
The more that comes out, the more clear it'll be.
What Bill Gates is saying about being named in the Epstein files. Microsoft founder Bill Gates is speaking out tonight about his alleged ties to Jeffrey Epstein. CTV's Washington bureau chief Joy Malbin on why Gates says he spent time with the convicted pedophile.
Bill Gates on Australian TV strongly denying new Jeffrey Epstein allegations. Gates says he regrets continuing his relationship with the late convicted pedophile, but says he did so in hopes of soliciting donations for his foundation.
I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior.
In the documents, Epstein wrote that Gates begged him to please delete their emails regarding a sexually transmitted disease and antibiotics, fearing his now ex-wife Melinda would see.
Those questions are for those people and for even my ex-husband. They need to answer to those things, not me. And I am so happy to be away from all the muck.
Gates is one of many rich and powerful men mentioned in the 3 million newly released Epstein documents. The former prince, Andrew, seen in new photos leaning over an unidentified woman. He was stripped of his royal titles and has long denied any wrongdoing, but kept up communication even after Epstein was convicted of sex crimes. And now British police have launched a criminal investigation into Lord Peter Mandelson for allegedly leaking sensitive market information to Epstein when Mandelson was business secretary under Labour's Gordon Brown during the financial crisis.
Mandelson betrayed our country, our parliament, and my party. Mr. Speaker, he lied repeatedly to my team when asked about his relationship with Epstein.
President Donald Trump has mentioned thousands of times in unverified allegations reported to the FBI. He dismisses them as smears and says it's time for the country to move on. Omar?
Joy, thank you. Still ahead, how AI can make your grocery bill even more expensive. We've heard about some of the benefits of AI to find deals at the grocery store, but what about the potential risks? CTV's Paul Hollingsworth on what to look out for.
For some savvy shoppers, when they see what looks like a bargain for groceries, their cautious attitude is buyer beware.
But I do not trust it.
Sylvain Charlebois says that's a smart approach, especially at a time when targeted ads on social media produced by AI are offering potentially misleading ads that promote lower prices for groceries.
They'll build algorithms that they'll use to service you, to know you, and to set proper prices depending of your buying behavior.
For example, if a shopper frequently buys eggs, they may see online prices promoting what looks like a good deal, but is not, and that could lead to paying more at the register.
When you're connecting pricing with consumers and using AI to increase profits and margins, I think there's a really wide line there.
There is an AI upside. Customers can compare prices at other stores while they shop.
It puts a lot of power directly in their hands.
So they can know for sure they're getting a fair shake.
I find I don't know if I'm getting the true thing or not.
Technology analyst Carmi Levy says shoppers can even consult with a virtual online AI agent before they make a purchase.
Who else is selling it in their area, for how much? What have the trends looked like?
Those trends through AI could help consumers make more informed, precise buying decisions to help them save money. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
Still ahead.
Oh, hi. I'm a bit lost.
Why this ad featuring a Canadian pop star is striking the wrong chord. Alberta-born pop star Tate McRae is getting some negative feedback from Canadians for backing Team USA. CTV's Tim Brooke on how she's hitting a sour note.
A Calgarian superstar in an American mix-up.
Oh, hi. I'm a bit lost.
Tate McRae is the lead of NBC's latest winter game spot, and she's got her eyes set south of the border.
I'm trying to get to Milan. Then it's the weekend with America's best skating for gold.
Now, the pop star is facing some heat.
We gotta talk about Tate McRae.
Yeah, I don't like it. She's a Calgary girl. Like, you gotta honor that. I'm sad. I don't like it. Not one bit.
People are pointing out that it's kind of a bad time, you know? Like, is this really the best decision in such troubling times? I think a lot of people are almost taking it as a line drawn in the sand, in a sense.
It's also not going well for McRae online. TMZ is covering this Canuck conundrum, and on Instagram, some fans are calling it a betrayal of McRae's roots. We even heard a few comparisons to Wayne Gretzky's Four Nations appearance.
You're telling me you couldn't find an American pop star to do a similar commercial?
These days, the Calgarian singer is living mostly in the U.S. and romantically linked to Team USA hockey player Jack Hughes. Fans tell us they understand it's show business, but they also hope McRae won't forget where she came from.
We're trying to support her. We just need her to give us something.
Tim Brooks, CTV News, Calgary.
And late tonight, McRae posted this childhood photo saying, "Y'all know I'm Canada down." We'll see if it's enough for fans. That's a snapshot of this Wednesday. Heather Wright is here tomorrow, and I'll see you on Friday from Quebec City. For all of us at CTV National News, thank you for watching and good night.